Have you ever laid in bed, your body exhausted, but your mind refusing to stop, replaying the same conversation, imagining scenarios that never happened, worrying about a future that hasn't even arrived? You stare at the ceiling, wishing your brain had an off switch, but the harder you try to silence it, the louder it becomes. Why does the mind do this? Why can't we simply switch it off the way we power down our phones? Why does peace feel so distant, even when nothing around us is truly wrong? This is the silent prison of overthinking, a cage with invisible bars, built entirely from your own thoughts. It feels like control, rehearsing, preparing, predicting, but in truth, it's the opposite. Your thoughts are controlling you. You think you're solving problems, but in reality, you're replaying them. You think you're preparing for the future, but you're exhausting yourself in the present. And while your body remains still, your mind runs marathons it was never designed to finish. Overthinking is not just a habit. It is a cycle, a trap that steals your energy, your sleep, your joy. And tonight, you're not alone inside it. In this video, we'll explore why your mind refuses to rest, not just from a psychological lens, but also from a deeper philosophical one. Overthinking may seem harmless, but it quietly drains your energy, your focus, and your ability to be present. Together, we'll break down the hidden mechanics, why your brain clings to thoughts, why it's so hard to stop, and what this constant mental noise is really costing you in modern life. We'll also reflect on the wisdom of Dan Millman, who said, "You don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you." These words point to a radical shift. The freedom you're looking for doesn't come from silencing your mind, but from changing your relationship with it. By the end of this video, you'll see how overthinking traps you in endless cycles and how to gently step out of that prison. I'll also share a personal reflection because I've walked this road myself. And finally, you'll leave with one simple but powerful action you can begin today. The human mind evolved as a survival tool. Our ancestors who constantly scanned the environment for danger, replaying mistakes, imagining threats, were the ones who survived. The person who worried about the rustling in the bushes lived longer than the one who ignored it. That same survival mechanism lives in you today. But here's the paradox. In the modern world, there are fewer tigers in the jungle and more tigers in your head. The danger isn't physical anymore, it's psychological. Instead of sharp teeth and claws you face the fear of failure at work, the fear of rejection in relationships, the fear of missing out when scrolling through endless feeds. Psychology calls this rumination, the tendency to dwell on problems rather than solutions. It feels productive, like you're preparing for every possible outcome. But in truth, it's a recycling of the same thought over and over. It drains energy without bringing clarity. This explains why you can replay a single conversation for hours or obsess over a decision long after it's been made. Your brain believes it's protecting you, but in reality, it's holding you hostage. Philosophers have warned us about this for centuries. The Stoics taught that peace doesn't come from controlling every detail of life, but from mastering how we respond to what we cannot control. Buddhist teachers went even further. The mind craves control, and yet, the more we chase control through thought, the more life slips away. Modern life only magnifies the problem. Social media algorithms exploit the brain's survival wiring, feeding you endless comparisons that keep your mind spinning. Work culture glorifies busyness, making it feel dangerous to slow down. And silence feels unbearable, because the moment things get quiet, the tigers inside your head get louder. And so, your mind never stops. Not because it's broken, but because it's doing exactly what was wired to do: scan, replay, and imagine. The tragedy is that what once kept us alive now keeps us anxious. Your mind isn't your enemy. It's simply an ancient survival system trapped in a modern world. Dan Millman once said, "You don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you." At first, this sounds almost impossible. You might think, how can I not be controlled by my thoughts when they never stop, when they're always in my head, always pulling me in different directions? But here's the truth. Thoughts are not the enemy. They are not commands. They are more like passing clouds, drifting through the sky. The problem begins when you mistake every cloud for a storm, when you assume every thought is a fact. From a psychological perspective, this connects to cognitive behavioral theory, CBT, the idea that thoughts trigger feelings, and feelings drive actions. For example, the thought, "I will fail this presentation," creates anxiety. That anxiety may cause you to avoid preparing, leading to the very failure you feared. But CBT teaches this. You don't have to accept every thought as reality. You can observe it, question it, and replace it with something more balanced. Philosophically, Millman's idea echoes traditions like Zen Buddhism and mindfulness. These teachings suggest that true freedom isn't about silencing the mind. It's about recognizing you are not your thoughts. Thoughts will come and go like waves, but you are the ocean beneath them. In everyday life, this shift looks simple, but it changes everything. A thought says, "You're not good enough." You respond, "That's just a thought, not a fact." Or a thought says, "Everyone is judging me." You pause and say, "Maybe, maybe not. But this is only a thought, not the truth." This shift from identification to observation is the beginning of freedom. You stop being dragged around by every story your mind tells you. And once you see thoughts for what they are, their power over you begins to fade. Let's ground this in your daily life. Because overthinking doesn't just live in theory. It lives in small, ordinary choices you make every single day. Endless scrolling. You grab your phone just to check one message. But 45 minutes later, you're still scrolling through reels, updates, and headlines. What's really happening here? Your brain is chasing dopamine, those little bursts of pleasure that come with each new post. But underneath that chase, there's something deeper, avoidance. Scrolling is often an escape from silence, because silence forces you to sit with your own thoughts. And if your thoughts are loud or restless, silence feels unbearable. So you scroll, not because the feed is so interesting, but because your inner world feels overwhelming. Overworking. Now think about work. You convince yourself, if I just finish one more task, answer one more email, push a little harder, I'll finally feel secure. But no matter how much you achieve, the bar keeps rising. That's overthinking in disguise. The belief that peace will arrive only after endless effort. Psychologically, this ties to perfectionism, where your worth is measured by constant productivity. Yet the irony? The more you strive, the less safe you feel. The finish line keeps moving. Toxic relationships. Then there are relationships. Maybe you replayed a conversation 100 times in your head. If only I had said it differently. Maybe they'd finally understand me. Maybe I can fix them. But this is not love. It's rumination dressed as devotion. Psychology calls this cognitive dissonance. The mental tug-of-war between what you know, this relationship is hurting you, and what you hope, if I just try harder, it will change. Overthinking here becomes a way of delaying the painful truth. All three examples, scrolling, overworking, and replaying relationships, reveal the same trap, the mind chasing certainty. You think, if I just think harder, I'll figure it out. But here's the cruel irony. The more certainty you seek, the less peace you find. Philosophically, this echoes Kierkegaard's idea of anxiety as the dizziness of freedom. In modern life, you face infinite choices, infinite paths. The mind spins endlessly, not because it's broken, but because it's overwhelmed by possibility. And instead of freeing you, overthinking keeps you stuck, trapped in imagined futures, unresolved pasts, and a present moment you can't enjoy. I'll be honest, I've been trapped here too. There were nights when I couldn't fall asleep because I was stuck replaying the same mistakes, wondering how life might have been different if I had chosen another path. There were days when I scrolled until my eyes ached, not because I cared about what I was seeing, but because I was afraid of sitting alone with my own thoughts. And there were countless moments when I told myself, if I just think a little harder, I'll figure it out. But the truth, thinking more never freed me. It only tightened the chains. The more I analyzed, the further I drifted from peace. What finally helped was realizing this. I don't need to silence my thoughts, and I don't need to believe them either. They're just weather passing through. My task is to remember I am the sky, not the storm. So what can you do starting today? The first step is not to force silence, but to shift your relationship with your thoughts. Every time the loop begins, pause and gently ask yourself, is this thought serving me or trapping me? That single question creates space. From there, try small practices. Journaling. When a thought repeats endlessly, write it down. Seeing it on paper makes it tangible and less powerful. Mindful pause. Close your eyes for just 2 minutes. Notice your breath rise and fall. Not to erase the noise, but to watch how thoughts drift in and out like passing clouds. One action rule. Instead of debating endlessly, pick one small step and take it. Action interrupts rumination. On a deeper level, remind yourself, life isn't waiting for you to fix your mind. Life is happening right here. Inside the noise, within the imperfection, the more you practice observing rather than obeying your thoughts, the more you'll feel the freedom that was always available to you. And when the storm of thinking feels endless, return to Dan Millman's reminder. You don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you. The prison of overthinking isn't locked. The door has always been open. The courage to walk through begins with you. Thank you for watching. If this video spoke to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. For more stories on psychology, philosophy, and the hidden patterns of the mind, stay curious, stay awake, and I'll see you in the next one.